The New Orleans Saints rebuilt their entire offense around one quarterback, and the rest of the league slept on it. Tyler Shuck finished second in Offensive Player of the Year voting as a rookie. Read it again. A second-round pick took over in November, won 5 of his final 9 starts, and forced an entire franchise to commit. Now the Saints handed him the deepest weapon room they have owned in years. Something else surfaced during mandatory minicamp, though. One defender posted the fastest clock time on the team timing board, and almost nobody outside the building noticed. Keep it in your back pocket. Start with the obvious. The Saints spent the 8th overall pick on Jordan Tyson, the highest wide receiver they have drafted since 1978. They added Bryce Lance in the 4th round and Barian Brown in the 6th. They signed tight end Noah Fant. They handed running back Travis Etienne Jr. a 4-year deal and kept Alvin Kamara anyway. Then came a move along the offensive line nobody put on a highlight reel. It will end up being the reason this whole offense works. The why stays buried for now. Flip to defense, because the Saints quietly built something nasty there too. Chase Young racked up 10 sacks in only 12 games and took a strip sack to the house against Tennessee. Cam Jordan signed on for a 16th season and one final ride. Caden Ellis came home, and all of it points toward one date circled in permanent marker. New Orleans opens the season on the road against a team built to bully them in a division which has buried the Saints for 5 straight years. By the end of this breakdown, you will know whether they are ready. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. Tyler Shuck walked into this offseason as the unquestioned starter, and he carried himself like one. He dropped body fat, added 6 pounds of muscle, and organized throwing sessions with Drew Brees out in San Diego. He ran his own player-led workouts in New Orleans before the team ever gathered. None of it shows up in a box score. All of it shows up in a locker room. Tight end Noah Fant already called him the franchise quarterback out loud. He earned every bit of the respect. As a rookie, Shuck threw for 2,384 yards and 10 touchdowns, ran for 3 more, and won the fan vote for Rookie of the Year. The numbers from the spring backed up the talk. Across charted practices through OTAs and minicamp, Shuck completed 35 of 51 passes, a clip near 69% with 0 interceptions. He looked decisive. He looked aggressive. He looked nothing like a quarterback feeling his way through year 1. Kellen Moore trusts him, and Mickey Loomis built the roster to prove the trust right. The question stopped being whether Shuck starts. The question became how high his ceiling climbs. Behind him sits a backup battle worth watching. Spencer Rattler held the early edge over Zach Wilson, the former 2nd overall pick the Saints signed in March. Rattler stayed clean and steady. Wilson flashed arm talent and then gave it back with turnovers. One of them backs up a rising starter. One of them might get traded for help somewhere else. Either way, the man in front of them is the entire point, and the weapons around him are about to take over this story. The New Orleans receiver room looked thin a year ago. Now it looks loaded. Chris Olave anchors it, a proven 1,000-yard threat in 3 of his 4 seasons when healthy. The Saints paired him with Jordan Tyson, the 8th overall pick out of Arizona State, a route technician some scouts graded as the best receiver in the entire class. At Devon Vele, a big-bodied matchup problem, the Saints traded a 4th-round pick to Denver for last summer, and the top of the depth chart already looks dangerous. Tyson put up 2,282 career receiving yards and 22 touchdowns in college, and some boards listed him as the top wideout available. Then they kept stacking. Jalen Polk arrived by trade and made plays all spring across every level of the field. Bryce Lance, the rookie out of North Dakota State, took the 2nd most targets in open practices and stacked good days, back-to-back. Barian Brown out of LSU tied a Southeastern Conference record with 6 career kickoff return touchdowns and started taking snaps as a gadget runner. The Saints did not add one weapon, they added a wave. Health is the only real question. Olave spent the spring limited after doctors found a blood clot in his lungs, late last season, and the team held him out of full teamwork until he cleared blood thinners. Tyson managed a hamstring and called it amazing, heading toward training camp. The tight ends pile on more, with Juwan Johnson coming off career highs, Noah Fant added, and rookie Oscar Delp developing behind them. The upgrade nobody saw coming did not happen on offense or defense at all. Special teams sank the Saints last season. This offseason, they flipped it into a weapon. Start with the kicker battle, because it is wild. The Saints signed Tanner Brown straight out of the United Football League, where he drilled 25 of 28 field goals for the champion Louisville Kings. Then the playoffs happened. Brown went 4 for 4, including 3 makes from 60 yards or longer, with 2 of them in a single game. He hit 88.6% of his college kicks at Oklahoma State and never missed an extra point there. He walks into a real fight. Charlie Smith, the Saints kicker, who arrived through the international player pathway, owns a big leg of his own and already hit a 47-yard game winner against Carolina with 2 seconds left. One kicker came up through Gaelic football in Ireland. One kicker came up through the Spring League. Both flip field position by themselves, and the Saints get to keep the winner. The return game leveled up too. Barian Brown gives New Orleans a true home run threat fielding kicks, the kind of player who flips a drive before the offense touches the ball. The Saints added punter Ryan Wright on a 4-year deal and kept reliable long snapper Zach Wood. Charlie Smith himself took over for a struggling kicker midway through last season and steadied the job. A unit which bled hidden yardage a year ago now creates it. And the loudest noise still came from the defensive front, where one breakdown changes how you see this roster. The Saints defense closed last season hot, and the front drove it. Chase Young posted 10 sacks in 12 games after missing the first 5 with a calf injury, then capped it with a 33-yard strip 6 against Tennessee. Cam Jordan led the team with 10.5 sacks at age 36. Carl Granderson added 6 more sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and his first career interception. The Saints kept building, drafting Chrisen Miller, a 321-pound interior force out of Georgia, and trading for edge rusher Tyree Wilson from Las Vegas. Inside, Brian Breesy and Davin Godchaux and Vernon Broughton rotate across the interior, with Kristen Miller already stuffing runs in minicamp. At linebacker, Caden Ellis returned to the team, where his career began, and took over the green dot from departed captain Demario Davis. Pete Werner and rising second-year man Danny Stutzman push for the spot beside him. The depth runs deep, the scheme belongs to coordinator Brandon Staley, and the secondary might be the most underrated unit of them all. Now the payoff on the minicamp mystery. The defender who clocked the fastest time on the team board was safety Jonas Sanker, the second-year man sliding into the star role, who played nearly 1,000 snaps as a rookie. He sits next to Justin Reed, who allowed only 6 1/10 yards per target in his first Saints season. Add corner Kool-Aid McKinstry wearing number 1, ball hawk Julian Blackmon back healthy after his season ended in week 1 a year ago, and second-year corner Quincy Riley. And the secondary has speed, range, and takeaways waiting to happen. The Saints have not won the NFC South in 5 years, and the path back runs through 3 familiar foes. New Orleans swept the Carolina Panthers last season, with Tyler Shuck grabbing his first career win in Charlotte and Charlie Smith, ending the rematch on a walk-off kick. The Panthers still build around young quarterback Bryce Young, but the Saints own the matchup. Confidence in a division starts with the team you already solved. Tampa Bay and Atlanta bring the real test. The Buccaneers ride quarterback Baker Mayfield, and Chase Young stripped him for a fumble last season in the Superdome. The Falcons lean on running back Bijan Robinson and receiver Drake London, a dangerous duo searching for steady quarterback play. The Saints' defensive line, healthier and deeper than it has been in years, gets 4 cracks at slowing both. In a division decided in the trenches, New Orleans finally stocked the trenches. The schedule offers no mercy to open. The Saints travel to Detroit in Week 1 to face Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the most complete rosters in football, inside one of the loudest buildings in the league. Head coach Kellen Moore started his playing career in Detroit, and Lions head coach Dan Campbell spent 5 seasons coaching in New Orleans, so the storyline writes itself. Edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson waits on the other side too. Win there, and the entire outlook shifts. Lose, and the doubts return. But the move set to decide games like this one was a quiet signing back in March. Here's the move, hiding in plain sight. The Saints signed guard David Edwards to a 4-year deal, and almost nobody outside Louisiana blinked. They should have. New Orleans struggled for years against interior pressure, the kind of rush from up the middle which collapses a pocket and strands a quarterback. Edwards is a respected veteran communicator who plays left guard at a high level, and he plugs the exact leak sinking past Saints offenses. His impact ripples everywhere. A cleaner interior protects Tyler Shuck on every dropback and opens real running lanes for the new backfield. The new backfield is where Travis Etienne Jr. earns his 4-year deal, the former Jacksonville first-round back pairing with Alvin Kamara, to give the Saints a true 1-2 punch they have lacked. Edwards arrived from Buffalo, where he protected a perennial contender. Left tackle Kelvin Banks Jr., center Eric McCoy, and right tackle Talise Fuaga round out a line, which, healthy, ranks among the better units in the league. And the defensive front carries its own payoff. Cam Jordan returned on a 1-year deal worth up to $11 million with sack incentives, a farewell tour built to chase the all-time sack list and one more deep run. He already holds the Saints franchise record at 132 career sacks, which ranks 17th in league history. The trenches sank this franchise for years. This offseason, on both sides of the ball, New Orleans finally fixed them on offense and on defense alike. Which leads to the only question left. So how good are these Saints? The offense added a top 10 pick, a new backfield, a rebuilt line, and a deeper receiver room. The defense returns a 10-sack edge rusher, a franchise legend, and a sneaky strong secondary. The special teams went from liability to strength. This is the most complete roster New Orleans has fielded since their last playoff run, and Tyler Shuck sits at the center of all of it. This team went 6-11 a year ago and has not made the playoffs since the 2020 season. 60 seasons of franchise history, and the foundation finally looks built to last. Here's the claim. This Saints team wins double-digit games, ends a 5-year playoff drought, and pushes for the NFC South crown in year 2 under Kellen Moore. It starts in Detroit in week 1. The exact stakes tease back at the open. Beat the Lions on the road, and the entire league has to take New Orleans seriously. The pieces fit. The trenches got fixed. The quarterback arrived a year early. Now it is your turn. Drop your Saints win total prediction in the comments and tell me if double digits is too bold or not bold enough. Then subscribe before the next breakdown drops so you do not miss training camp. The depth chart battles are only getting started, and the next reveal covers every roster spot still up for grabs when the pads finally come on. New Orleans waited 5 years for this. The wait is almost over.